crisp apple strudels, doorbells and sleigh bells and sweet sweet noodles, wild geese that fly with the moon on their wings. These are a few of my favorite things.
Hello and good evening and welcome to The Truth Behind the Truth. Guys, we're so glad to have you join us tonight. We thank you so much for tuning in with us on this wonderful day. What is today? The Saturday after Thanksgiving.
Yes.
I want to say happy Thanksgiving to everybody. We hope that you ate a lot, that you cooked a lot, that you ate a lot, and all of the wonderful stuff that there is. I hope you had a blessed and grateful Thanksgiving, and coming in with us. Want to welcome our YouTube family, our Facebook family that's always in tune with us, and soon to be our Instagram family, because we know you guys get a chance to come back and view the shows after it's done.
Yes.
Want to remind everybody to do what? Go get that
T-shirt.
Okay. It's the holiday season, guys. Get that T-shirt. Order. They are going fast.
Yes, they are. They are really going fast. But to be honest with you, Christmas is around the corner, so you have to. If you don't have any idea what to buy,
right?
T-shirts, masks, anything we're giving. So come on.
Go ahead and buy it.
Go on, make it happen. Listen, make it happen. I mean, it's just so, right now, people are, we just saw people on, yesterday for Black Friday, and, and they said, now people are staying at home ordering things online now because of the fact that, now there's only a percentage of people that can go into stores. Right. I don't know. It depends here in LA, but in other places, I don't know, it's totally different.
Right.
The standards of how they're dealing with this COVID situation and the pandemic is totally different. Right. So I say to those, hey, if you need Christmas gifts, hey, we got the T-shirts.
Absolutely. Yeah, exactly. It don't cost you that much either. Okay, it's probably a lot less than you think that it's going to be cost. Actually, the T-shirts are only $25, and that's in all sizes. Okay, so we definitely encourage you to go ahead and get that T-shirt. One of the things you also want to remind you guys: December 13th. Oh my God, that is going to be an exciting show. All right, the promos are going out about it. If you guys haven't seen it yet, you'll be seeing a part of it tonight. But it is our big Zoom show. Okay, we're having every one of the wonderful actors that have taken the time to be with us to put the Actor Symposium together. We're all back with one great Zoom show. That is going to be awesome. And we have a surprise special guest that's going to surprise everybody on that particular show. So I'm really, really excited. So mark your calendars, guys. Mark your calendars. December 13th, 9 p.m. Eastern Time, 8 p.m. Central Time, and 6 p.m. on the West Coast. That is on a Sunday. Yeah. Now, that particular Saturday, we will still be doing our regular show as well. So 2 shows that particular weekend, okay? But we want you to be there for the Saturday show as well as the Sunday show. It is going to be awesome.
It is.
I'm telling you.
I can't wait for that special guest to come.
Oh, I know, right? Wow.
I cannot wait.
I'm telling you.
I want to see this.
A lot of people have said you guys have been really...
But sure enough, I'm just excited for the whole entire, setup that we're going to have to get these people back in on the show, talking about what we talked about in the past few, weeks, months,
Right.
It's gonna be something to hold.
It is. It is. And I love about it because this group of actors that you guys have had the privilege already of hearing their stories, throughout this Actor Symposium. Everybody's coming back together to share. So I can imagine what the essence and the energy that's going to be a part of that show. You need to be there. I'm telling you for this particular show. There's no question about it. Okay. Tell your friends, start sharing, share and like and share, subscribe. Okay. Go to that YouTube page. It is growing. We thank you for that, guys. Keep keep subscribing. Okay, keep sharing. We're definitely we're seeing the results of you sharing this. Sharing this with your friends and everybody. Just put out just do a blast for Truth Behind the Truth. Just do a blast. Yeah, I mean, y'all remember there's a lot of other places. Put them out. Blast it on them friends pages that you got. Okay, because there's nothing like us out there.
No.
There's nothing like the truth behind the truth. Our essence is to help you grow in your authenticity, to know that you are.
Also find your authenticity too.
To find your authenticity, absolutely. Yes. To know that you are enough, okay? And hey, number one thing is we always say about the show we started out was love yourself, love your creator. Yeah. Then you'll be in a position to be able to love humanity. Okay, that message will never change with us. Okay, that is what we're about. That is the essence of our core, and hopefully that you are really, as our audience, being able to get that at this particular time.
And you said to love humanity. To be honest with you, now that is so important these days. Gosh, I mean, goodness gracious, let me just say this: as this pandemic is showing us in the year 2020, I don't know what's going to happen in the next year, but I know 2020. If you don't understand about being your brother's keeper, you need to understand now that you need to be it. Yes. If you want other people around you, your family, your friends, your love, whoever you consider important in your life, at this point in time during this pandemic, you should think about humanity and what it brings. Yes. And the fact is, now that we're going through a change in politics. We got a new president. Thank God. That was, oh my gosh. That felt like a weight lifted. Okay, I know, but just the fact that we're really going through a change in this country. Yeah, a transition in this country. Thank God. And hopefully for the better come next year. I'm really putting out positivity for next year. Yes. Even though 2020 wasn't the best year, but next year will be better than this year. Right. But the fact is, if you do not love humanity, then I'm sorry. I don't know what to tell you. I mean, you cannot, and during this time, can at least not say that you cannot be your brother's keeper. If you love people, you will put on your mask. You will do what is necessary for people to survive. Right. Absolutely. Basically. Absolutely. So loving your humanity is so important right now in this time. Right. We got to love each other enough to protect one another's health. Right. I agree. There's no other point to say about that. Yeah. If you find yourself not putting yourself in a position to love somebody, then you got to check yourself. You need to check yourself. You got to check yourself because, it's all about love. It's all about love. At the end of the day, it truly is all about love. It truly is. So, as you mentioned earlier, and we're going to touch this, and we're going to go ahead and bring our wonderful guest tonight, which I haven't mentioned yet. Do want to say next week, okay? What's next week? I'm sorry, getting next week. Our wonderful co-host, Harold, will be back with us next week. Co-hosting Glenn next week. So we're excited about that. And back telling you about our guest actor tonight. I mean, I'm gonna say this young man because he's just a little bit. We about the same age. I'm just kidding. He gonna hit me when he come over if you hear that. But he is a dear brother of mine. We've known each other for quite a bit of time, and he has just really blown up in the acting world. We'll talk about that. A great one and all the stuff that he's been doing. And we'll be, as I always say, people come to call him Doctor. But anyway, his name is Kevin Savage, and he is our guest tonight on the show. But we'll be bringing up Kevin shortly after our commercial. But before we get into, just before we go to the commercial, about 2 minutes before we go, I'm finally glad to see, and you can touch on this, that we're getting moved. That Eddie is moving out of the White House. Okay. He has finally agreed. Okay, that he was not going to stay and have the National Guard come pull him out by his hair. Okay, okay, because I thought for a minute that they don't get the National Guard to pull his ass out the house. Because I ain't never seen anybody sitting on somebody else's house. He don't even own the house. You don't own the house. And go tell you that I'm gonna kick up residents when you have already kicked my ass out. I mean, really, come on. But go ahead. I mean, to be honest with you, it's really. It's not his house because he never paid taxes. I'm just saying it was never his house because we realized he only paid taxes only one time. Right. So it was never his house. It's my house, it's your house because we pay taxes. Right. But just the fact is, though, I mean, I knew he had to. He was not going to go down like that. That's too embarrassing on his end. And plus, he loved himself. I don't think he loves everybody else. Right. I think he loves himself enough not to put himself in such a position to be embarrassed because the voting thing was embarrassing enough. I mean, he had to go. He wanted to recount state after state after state after state. That's embarrassing. And did you see the press conference where he walked in and walked right on out?
No, I didn't see that one.
That in itself is very telling. It's very telling of the pride. His pride is too high for all of that.
Well, you touched on it because I know we can dig it.
I know.
But the point is that you're saying that this part of his the time that he was was embarrassing. I'm gonna leave this the whole time that he's been in office has been embarrassing. Okay, so we're gonna move on. Okay, from talking about that person.
I hope history calls him the other person.
The other person.
The other person, yes.
Right. So the other person that happened to be in the White House.
Yes.
I love how Whoopi Goldberg said on the View. We'll leave it at this: is that she never said his name the whole time of his presidency. Never did. Not one time. 4 years, she never did. Perfect. All right, guys, we're gonna go to our commercial. Yeah. All right, guys, we'll be right back with our wonderful guest tonight, Mr. Kevin Savage. We're going to talk about all the great things that he's doing and what's going on in his life and all those wonderful things. All right, we'll be right back after this commercial. Yes. Hey, welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to The Truth Behind the Truth. Want to thank you again for everybody tuning in with us tonight. You guys did see about our upcoming show on December 13th. We cannot stop emphasizing, guys. It's a show that you really, really need to be a part of and see what's going on that particular show. Also, again, want to recognize our YouTube guests, and our Instagram guests as well, along with our Facebook family and all those in our UK family and everyone that is watching us. We're so excited you guys are decided to be a part of this wonderful family of Truth Behind the Truth, And every Saturday, 9 p.m. on the East Coast. 8 p.m. Central Time.
Central Coast.
Central
Time. Central Coast.
Central Coast. East Coast. And at 6 p.m. on the West Coast.
Yes.
So without further ado, all right, we're going to bring you the man, okay? I'll wait till the second commercial called Doctor. So right now, we'll just leave him as the wonderful actor, Kevin Savage, guys. Welcome, Kevin Savage, to the show, guys. Hello, my brother.
Hey, what's going on, man? Thanks. Listen, thanks for having me, guys. I'm excited.
Oh man, no, thank you for taking time out of your wonderful schedule, okay, to be a part of this. Because hey, between auditions and trying to get that next gig, trying to get that movie or that series you're working on,
You already know, man. It's always in grind mode. You got to stay grind mode.
I was gonna say I'm gonna put it out there. We'll get a series called Kev YPD. Wow. Kev YPD. Okay. Hey, we need a young, good-looking investigator out here that's making stuff happen around, going these different places. We need something like that. You know what I mean? Hey.
Listen, I'm up to take the job, man. Definitely.
Absolutely. And, that reminds me. I don't know if you remember that. I don't know where we were that particular day. That which we always do, having that spiritual moment. And every one of my actor friends, I've always had that spiritual moment with, and that's such a blessing. You know what I mean? To be able to speak something into their lives, whatever case it be. And I remember this is before I think you started booking, like you have been booking. And I said to you, there's greatness there, that the world had not seen what was coming forth out of you. And I knew that you were going to have a very successful and flourishing career. Wow. And then when I was saying like, Kevin popping up all over, I said, okay, well, the word came right there. I'm looking for it. I'm like, wait, Kevin's on it. I'm like,
but that's something that we were just talking about in the beginning of the show, speaking life and loving humanity. You had enough time to speak life into his career, or to before this happened. Because let me tell you, looking through your the line of work that you have done, Kevin, I'm impressed. I mean, you've been riding this wave of these shows that are groundbreaking in my time. I mean, Lovecraft and P-Valley. I remember you telling me about him when the show Quad was going on. Exactly. And I kept saying, goodness gracious. I'm just like, did you really know that this was this? I'm just wanting to know, as an actor, you're never knowing where your career is heading, because sometimes whatever field that you're in this field of movies or stage, you never know where it's going to turn. If it's going to be a little slow, it's going to be a little fast. In the beginning of the process of your career, did it start off kind of rough for you, or did the work just fall on your lap? I'm just saying.
For some people have that testimony. I don't. Especially growing up in a city like Philadelphia, where we have Freedom Theater, the Art in Theater, certain theaters that could kind of bring it out of you if that's what if you're into the arts. But just theater, and I knew that I wanted to go further, and so. At some point you got to make a decision. Say, okay, well, my pastor, I was listening to him, and he said, sometimes you have to put yourself in the position to win, and that means putting yourself around whatever it is that you're trying to obtain. And so, being in Philadelphia, I knew that I was only going to get so far in terms of television, and so I had to make a decision if it was California or Atlanta. And I was frequenting Atlanta for about a year before I decided to make that move. So finally, I came down. The energy felt right, and that was the beginning. That was more so the beginning, really, of my career in television, because I'd never done television. And from then, it just, grinding, finding the right agency, but everything kind of worked out the way that it needed to work out, and the way it needed to work out. And so just auditioning and stuff, it was never easy, but it wasn't insurmountable. And that's what people need to understand. People need to understand.
And you coming from Philadelphia, I mean, you come from the place of Will Smith and Patti LaBelle. Did you have any did anybody inspire you to get into this work? I mean, was there some inspiration that was involved that you said, God, I have to be an actor. I have to do this because this is just something that I'm inspired to do. And this person have inspired me to go forth.
Definitely. It's crazy. What's ironic, actually, my name is Kevin Savage. I didn't change my last name. So many directors and people ask me, hey, did you change your last name? No, but when I was younger, I used to watch Wonder Years. Fred Savage.
Fred Savage, okay.
Yeah. And so on a show, his name was Kevin Arnold. So it was that whole Kevin. Yeah, so it was weird, but I would watch the show, and that was one of my favorite shows, The Wonder Years. Okay. And watching Winnie and all of them, and I remember being a young guy and saying, I think I can do that. He's a kid. I think I can do that. And so that, I think, is what sparked it. And then, of course, growing up, having, a grandmother who watched the Young and the Restless and Bold and the Beautiful and all of those shows and stuff. So started watching that, and so that gave me kind of like inspiration, but I didn't really embark on it until I got older. So it's one of those things that was kind of hidden, and
right. Yeah. Well, and that that's a good thing. I mean, and a lot of times it's that when you're really gifted in something, for whatever the pathway that you're on at that time in your life, I think that gifting, if you allow it, will come full circle. You know what I'm saying? Because you say that there are actors out there that are late bloomers. Hypothetically, let's use the lady that was in Black Panther, the older lady that was a part of the council. Yeah, she had been quote unquote an actor her entire life, but there was a point in her life that she had to make, as you said earlier, Kevin, a conscious decision. And whatever that conscious decision she made at 92? I think she was when she auditioned for it. That she made that conscious decision that at this point in my life, I'm going to put in to be the actor that I knew it was all along.
But that's the story of all actors. You even mentioned that when you moved from Philadelphia to Atlanta, you made that decision. When you said that, I thought about Taraji coming from, I believe she had just graduated from Howard, just had her baby and moved to California, not even having a home. Right. And making that decision in that moment that I will be successful. There are some people who are out here who are struggling, but they had made a conscious effort to, like you say, to be and to think about that success, to compete. And it's all competition. And we're going to get into this. This is about competing and wanting to be there, be on time, knowing your lines, being at your best. And you would, like you said, most of actors are introverts. I call that meditation at the end of the day. When you're an introvert, you're meditating. You're meditating the words. You're meditating the character. When you're on that set or in that auditioning room and you're just sitting there just focused. It looks introverted, but there's do you agree, Kevin, to that? Just,
I do that, because it takes a certain level of just focus and just concentration and just being in that moment, and not worried about anything else, not worried about what's going to happen the next moment, not worried about what already happened, but just being present. And that's just in life. So many of us we get so inundated with worrying about how tomorrow is going to turn out. Yes. But we're not really staying in the moment and realizing that I'm breathing, I'm living. This is right now is all I have. So whenever I get on set, I don't worry about anything else. I don't worry about how my performance is going to play out. I'm just going to stay in the moment as best as I can. oftentimes that yields, the best performance or, results. So,
absolutely. And I want to dig into that after our commercial break, about, and you want to talk about Lovecraft. And, when we first talked about your character, and then when I first saw your character, I was like, what? That's like, that's Kevin, I know. But we'll talk about that in a minute, But before we go to commercial, I wanted to say this little heartwarming moment, and one of the things that, and you probably didn't notice, everybody knows it's been in their own way so dear to me, and a lot of things. I remember this brother, I was in the hospital, okay, and he called another good friend of ours, and he had heard that I was in the hospital, but he made it a point. I think you left from work or whatever it came to see. I think this was the time I had my gallbladder out, and I was like so surprised when he walked in the room. He said, "Man, I just had to come be with you." Wow. And it was. I'm sorry. I'm very sentimental when it comes to stuff like that. At times you don't know where you are in your life when people just make that step. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And then there were other people that, as you know, that are really connected in my life, didn't even make that step. Wow. You see what I'm saying? Wow. But for you to make that step, and he said, I just had to come by and see about you. You know what I mean? Now, I'm telling you that Kevin, that little moments like that are just so precious, in one's life. And I never forget those things. I promise you, I never forget those things. They become a part of my life. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
It's crazy because our introduction, meeting you through my godpa, Troy Bland, shout out to him.
Right.
But us, in the acting world, when I met you, it was just your energy. Wow. It was your energy. It was like I'd already known you.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so just in knowing that you definitely left an impression. And so when I heard that you were in a hospital, like I said, it wasn't about how long we knew each other. It wasn't that I had just met you. It wasn't any of that. It was the fact that when I did meet you, your impression was just, wow. It was your energy was crazy. And I was like, you know what? I want to see about that brother, because God forbid, whatever, I just want to say, listen, man, you left an impression on me. You're a good guy. And I just want to pray for you. And that's important. And I think if we start doing that more, things will be better for all of us,
Amen.
Right. Yeah. So sorry. Woo. All right, we need to go commercial.
And on that note, he's watching us. Hey, Troy, Eric.
Hey, Troy. Oh my God. Okay. Let me go to this commercial, okay?
Wow.
So when we come back, we're gonna talk about Lovecraft, okay? And then we'll dissect P-Valley after that.
Yeah.
So guys, we'll be right back after this commercial.
sweet sweet noodles, wild geese that fly with the moon on their wings. These are a few of my favorite things.
Hello, welcome back, guys. Thank you for tuning in once again to The Truth Behind the Truth.
Yes.
It has been already a moment of movement. Thank you, Kevin. Appreciate it, Kevin.
Definitely comment.
Thank you, Kevin. Make me cry on my own show.
Which is good.
Hey, it's all love,
but
man.
I really, really, truly appreciate that from the deepest part of me, man. It is, and yeah, it's so rare in life, but the connections are just beautiful. You know, they really are. They definitely are. But anyway, guys, just want to again welcome our YouTube family and our Facebook family once again. Certainly our Instagram family and those in the UK and around the world. We are here tonight with our wonderful guest, my little brother, Dr. Kevin said, now you get the doctor. Now you got the doctor title, Dr. Kevin Savage.
I told you it has a ring to it, so I like that. I'm an doctor.
Exactly. Exactly. So let's dig into some of this work. Okay, I think I want to talk about Lovecraft. You know, you're a P Valley fan.
Oh,
but let's talk about Lovecraft, man. Okay. And like we went to the break. You know, guys, knowing this guy and knowing his spirit and his character and all the outside of the person you guys when you saw the show on Lovecraft, total different person. I mean, I was just so. I told you, I was so blown away, and I was like, okay. And I kept because I knew you were going to be on the show, and I kept saying, "When's Kevin coming up? When's coming up?" And I didn't know where it was in the scene. You know, of course, of it. So when it came to the army scene, well, let me back up. That particular episode was just it was so weird in its perspective anyway, you know, and in not knowing where it was going to go with the Asian girl killing all the men that she had affairs with or sexual favors with, you know. But the thing that got me first, that we're going to talk about your part, is that it grabbed me because we're both Judy Garland fans.
Oh yes.
And when it started out with Judy, I was like, did Jordan Peele really go back and pull Judy out for this film? That was like really, really so powerful, you know. Yeah. And then of course, one of my other favorite movies, which is Summer Stock, was a bit the highlight of this. And I'm like, you know what? Oh my gosh, you know. So that already got me excited. Now, you know.
What show got me excited knowing that? I'm like, because I be on social media and I follow I don't watch too much of Lovecraft, but I followed some of it on my timeline. And every now and then it was mentioning Judy. I'm like, why are they mentioning Judy Garland on a black show? It just was not a black show. It has a multiracial cast. Right. But it's just the fact that I was like, why? What's going on? What's the importance of this subject of Judy being on the show? Then I watched it and I realized, oh, I see. The historical significance of the situation and why why her name was pulled up and what the dots that were connected through the storyline of why she was relevant in the scenes. But going back to what you were saying, I didn't want to take over your question.
No. And I'm going to let you speak on Kevin. The one part I wanted to be about this, as we were so powerfully philosophical before we went to the break. Now, Judy being who she was, and I'm sure you've probably been, somewhat of a fan of Judy Garland's work, but he is like the quintessential Judy Garland fan. Okay, and I am too. But the point that I wanted to bring up about that, of course, that particular episode was built around the 50s anyway. So the Korean War, to be exact. The Korean War. So looking at how they could have picked anybody. They could have Fred Astaire. They could have did anybody else that were doing Marilyn Monroe doing it. But the question came up: why they pick Judy for this particular point? And with Judy's history in Hollywood, most people don't really know this, but she was a great advocate for the African American community in Hollywood. Yes, she was. So I was like, man, if Jordan really pull that in, or just celebrating her, doing hey, that just kudos to her, you know, and her energy in the universe, man. That was like really good. But anyway, I know we can get deep in that. Maybe we'll come back to that. But I really want to talk about that character. I mean, man, woo! To see you go from one point and that ruthlessness that came out, I was like, he gonna really shoot her or what? You know. But tell us about where you went, probably what did you enjoy about being on set that day, or what did you find about yourself on set that day during that particular scene?
So I mean, just the energy, like, you know, when I got the sides and I read the breakdown of the character, it was so funny because, just a little backstory, I was actually in Philadelphia. The irony of that was I was preparing my niece, helping her to prepare to audition for a known high school, performance art high school in Philadelphia called Kappa.
Okay.
And so I'm getting her ready, and I get the phone call from my agent, and she's like, "Hey, you have an audition, you know, this coming Monday." And it was like that Friday, and I said, "Listen, I'm not in Atlanta." And she said, "Well, it's an in-person, and this particular casting director only likes in person. They don't do tapes much."
Wow.
So I said, "Well, listen," I said, "let her know," because I'd already booked with her anyway. So I said, "Let her know that I can't make it." She said, "Well, what do you want me to say?" I said, "Tell her I'm filming."
Okay.
And I said, "Just tell her I'm filming," because I was not leaving what I was there for, just to come back for an audition. And so they let me put it on tape, and I just gave it all that I had. And next thing you know, about a week later, to find out that my tape booked over people that she saw in person, that was nothing but God. First of all, it wasn't.
Oh man, you know,
yeah, it was only God. I mean, let's just be real. But just to get that, and so in terms of the character, you know, it was crazy because I did some research about the Korean War, and you know, communism was just not a thing that was going to happen at that time. Right. And so, yeah, it was really intense, man. And you know, some personal things in my life I kind of went through, and that's what kind of fueled that energy that you saw.
Gotcha. Wow.
But you know, even in that episode, I was kind of thinking about they were going to tap into the situation. You know, the leading male. I keep forgetting his name, and I apologize for this.
Jonathan Majors.
Yes, his connection with the Korean woman. You know, I was doing a little back history on that. At that time for Black soldiers of that period during World War II and the Korean War, and you know, it was. I was thinking about there were situations even in that time where, you know, segregation keeping the races apart was so prevalent in that time period that, you know, Black soldiers could not, if they invaded a country, could not, you know, meet up with a European woman or an Asian woman. I think it was just against the law. I think against policy to race mix, even in that time during war. And a lot of Black soldiers who were framed for rape or framed for doing, you know, dangerous stuff with, you know, doing crazy stuff, they were shot and killed. So in that episode, I was thinking about his connection with this Korean woman and how dangerous, even for his character, to be aligned with her. Okay. And how and how, you know, even if he wasn't trying to go that route, the storyline could have went, you know, she could have framed him and got not only him killed, but her killed, knowing that, you know, she being Korean and they were killing communists, North Koreans over there who were spies. But it's just the fact that, you know, I thought about that. I said, wow, he could have went in that route. But it's just the fact of that history, you know, knowing the situation that, you know, y'all were, the episode of this, you know, of the Korean War and how they were going there and killing all of, even in your scene, I was like, oh God, they're actually going to shoot these women. That in itself was like, oh my gosh. I was like, this is war. Oh my, and I didn't know, to be honest with you, I didn't know that was you that you was referring to when you said that's my friend. But even to get into a scene like that, did you have to really pray and meditate and really, I mean, what really gets you going to get into a part or get into a scene like that, knowing that humanity, you're having to shoot somebody, not shoot somebody, but
what's kind of funny. What's funny is it was refreshing for me. As weird as that sounds, because I mean, JV, the person who I am and stuff, and the characters that I played, more so the guy next door or the guy that's having an affair with a woman, and her husband walks in, like stuff like that.
Right.
That's easy for me, right? But so for this role, it was refreshing, because as actors, we don't just want, but we need that role that's going to be challenging. Challenging in a way. It was definitely challenging. But it was so fun, because we all have that side of us, like if we were pushed, and so it's just more so the process of getting to that.
Right.
Because we all have it in us. It's just the process of getting into it. And so my process, like I said, with my acting, one of my acting teachers, he will use certain, exercises to help us to get there quicker. And a lot of times it would stem from traumatic experiences from our past.
Yes.
That would trigger certain things. And so that was the fun for me. That was the fun part, to do that. And so to be able to get on set. And I remember leaving, and I got on the wrong van, because I drove to set, of course, because they shot that here in Atlanta. Mm-hmm. And I remember the actors saying, no, like, I said, well, is this we're going back to base camp? They said, no, this is going to the hotel. And I was turning around to get off the van, and they said, well, you want to go back to the hotel, right? Because you're from LA. And I said, no, I'm not from LA. I'm an Atlanta actor. Right. Once I said that, they looked at me like, wow. And so that spoke volumes, because it was just amazing to know that my work, the preparation, you stay ready, you never have to get ready. And so when you prep to be in those moments, and to be able to, because when you get on set, the producers, the directors, they're not trying to hear, oh, you got to get ready. No, you got to be ready. Right. You got to be ready. And so it was so fun for me. That character was so fun, because it's so different, and it's definitely opened up a lot of doors. And working with Jamie Chung, the young Jai, that was the lead in that particular episode, and working with Atticus, Jonathan Majors, man, it was amazing, because I respected their work anyway. And I never forget, Jonathan Majors put his hand on my shoulders on one of the takes, and he was like, dude, good work. Wow. I said, thank you.
Wow.
Thank you. So, you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready. And that's what it was.
Yeah. Hey, that's just a precedence for a longevity in terms of what you're doing and what you're accomplishing. I mean, we got to go to another quick break, but we want to dig into P-Valley, and then I want to bring up the other show, the football player, and Quad,
Terrence Berry.
Oh, that was another character that wasn't Kevin either. But we're gonna go quick commercial break.
No, you're right. You're right. The question is, did I do it? That's the question.
Right, exactly. And did we ever find that ins and out? Because I wanted to know what happened. At the end of the day. But anyway, we'll be right back after this commercial. We're going to dig into those too.
noodles, wild geese that fly with the more on their wings. These are a few of my favorite things.
Hello, and we're back. Guys, thank you for tuning in again once tonight to The Truth Behind the Truth. This has been such an awesome show thus far.
Yes.
Thus far.
Yes.
Again, I'm excited. I'm excited to have now the officially, what's the word? Honorary Dr. Kevin Savage on the show. Definitely. Dr. Kevin Savage on the show. But anyway, so where we left off, we were going to dig into the character of P-Valley. Now, this is his show. Well, I won't say his show. I mean, I like P-Valley as well. But he has just been like P-Valley.
It's intriguing. It's very, my curiosity level from social media had me watching that show. But, you know, it's just so even on that show, your experience of working on that show, I mean, did that open your eyes to whatever because you look at the characters of Uncle Clifford and all these strippers and stuff. What was your expectations on what was your experience on that set, honestly? I
knew. Yeah, like I knew going in. I mean, it was closed set, right? And so whenever there's a closed set,
yes,
you know, something's going to be very interesting,
right? Okay.
So going in and seeing the women and stuff, personally, I'm not like a big, strip club guy.
Right.
I've been to Magic City in a few places, but so it was interesting. It was interesting being in that atmosphere. And seeing these women, beautiful women, oh my God. But I knew that Katori Hall, the writer, she wanted to really show the brilliance of pole dancing. And so when you look at it from that perspective, and she was being interviewed and she said, I really wanted people to understand that these women are very intelligent. And a lot of times people get that wrong idea of strippers, but a lot of strippers are really intelligent. Mm-hmm. And to be able to physically be on that pole and do some of the things that they do is an art, whether you want to realize it or not.
Yeah.
And so from that perspective, it was pretty cool just being on set and watching them. Uh-huh. The art of it was amazing. And attractive women, it never hurts anyway. So it was fun.
Exactly. Exactly.
And what was your process of getting on the show? Did you have to go through an audition and, get the part?
Yeah, it's just like anything else. You definitely got to, audition. And one day, I'll get that name where I don't have to audition. But no, my agent.
It's on the way.
It's coming. But my agent, sent me a C-mail, which is Actors Access. I checked it out. His audition for Ferragamo, and I thought it was interesting that they gave me a name too. I said, okay, cool. So when I go into audition, it was funny, you guys. When I go into audition, Katori said, "Wait a minute," and she looked at my resume. She's like, "I know you." She was like, we got to get a bigger role for you. And no director has ever done that right in front of everybody while I'm in there about to audition.
Wow.
And so I said, okay. I said, well, I will gladly accept. So after the audition, after the audition, and after filming and everything, I haven't heard anything yet. But the fact that she said that, it was a testament that I'm on the right path, and that there's a song, "The World Will Know Your Name," and I would listen to that because I drive home to Philly all the time. I hardly ever fly. It's 12, 13-hour drive, but it's a time to process different things.
Right.
And that song came on, and I said, you know what? I'm moving. When I moved down here, I said, the world's going to know my name.
Yeah.
And it's so when I walked in that room and Katori said that, I said, wow, it's happening.
Wow.
It's happening. It's actually happening.
Wow.
And so, it's a difficult process at times, but God always gives you those little trinkets to let you know you're on the right path. He'll throw those breadcrumbs.
Right.
You know, he'll give you a little bit, and because there are moments when I'm just like, oh my God, I need it to happen faster. But he's like, oh, slow down.
Woo, we know that. Trust me. But go ahead.
Yeah, and so when I booked it, and I said, no, that was great. I booked it, and so I was pretty sure I would book it, based off of what she said. Yes. And I was like, okay. It was just really fun. It was fun being on that set, you know, and being a guy who didn't pop his tags. And fun fact, that suit is actually my suit, and it was not a Dillard suit at all. So I'm just letting you know that.
Wow.
Yeah, it was fun. It was fun.
So it is. So the way she left that, so season 2 may be a lot of happening for you.
Could be. Yeah. I remember walking in there and to get fitted. And they said, wait a minute, is that one of our suits? And I said, no, this is my suit. And they said, we ain't got to do nothing. And that's what I'm saying, guys. For actors that are listening and on this podcast, it's so important, you guys, that you know to be ready. Come to work, ready to work.
Ready, yeah.
Because the fact that the only thing they changed was my shirt. That was the only thing. I was ready to work. Wow. And it was just a fun experience. It just really was. Yeah.
That, I mean, just hearing you say that, the excitement about, you know, I mean, just about the whole thrill of being there in that character. I mean, I'll put it this way, as I always do, I'm putting it in the universe for the whole season of season 2 for you. Okay. Whatever character she brought at this point, she got you in mind. You know,
JB, she has me in mind, and it's one of those things where, you know, I get all the time, or are you coming back for the next, you know, episode, or are you coming back for, you know, because I'll make an appearance and you don't see me anymore. And I used to get frustrated with that. That was like, oh, man, like, come on, especially when I was on Dynasty, and you know, and I played Brett, and so, you know, I played the billionaire's best friend, Adam, and so it was so funny because it was like, I could see me being on set. I mean, the energy was good. I could see me working on that set and just being there. And so when I didn't get the call to come back on it, I was like, oh man, you know, it used to frustrate me, but it doesn't anymore. It doesn't anymore because, you know, you have a lot of actors that still have not experienced being on set at all yet. You know, they're trying to get their first job. And so we always have to, for me, I have to remind myself to stay in an attitude of gratitude and never get, you know, there's going to be another TV show that I'm going to be leading or recurring role. You know, that's going to happen for me. I believe it. And until then, keep having fun. You got to have fun.
Well, you know, see, and listening to your work ethic about it, because one of the things that I think every acting coach, and when I'm coaching, I have been coaching people, you always want to leave a residue on set. Okay, but that residue will never forget that you were there, but you're always open for them to invite you back. See what I'm saying? And you want to leave that kind of residue, you know, there. And it may not be at that particular moment in time or whatever the case may be, because sometimes stories are already written. But when the next rewrite comes, you see what I'm saying? Then they're in their mind for that rewrite for you to be in that particular character. You know, you got to leave a residue. You know,
now, enlighten me on the residue, meaning, you know,
meaning that you have left such a wonderful impression with the AD, with the director, with all of the key people in there. Not that you're on there acting all crazy and all that, but the number one thing is that, like, you know, when you used to be my head, you go in number one as in most cases either as a guest star or day player, because you know you quote the star, but your job is to support the main actor in the scene that you're in, not still the scene. And that support, if you support it right, you do still the scene.
let me go. I'm sorry.
I was going to say that I'm just going to jump back and make a point. I was going to jump back to Lovecraft, you know, and what happened, because I remember I told you after I talked to you after Lovecraft, you know, the great thing about that character is that you left a point, or it was so profound that the audience wondered where you were. You see what I'm saying? Because I was like, you remember I told you that on the phone. I said, after it was done, they cut, editing went back to the hospital scene, whatever. And I'm like, well, what the hell, when's Kevin come back? You know what I'm saying? Because it left it open. But what was so strong, because I wanted to know what happened to your character after you shot her. You know what I mean? Did you go back off to war? Did you engage? Did you find one of them to be a girlfriend at the end of the day? But hold on, I'm saying. Go ahead. Go ahead, Kevin. I know I cut you off earlier. Go ahead.
No. It's funny because when I watched that scene, I often wondered the same thing. I think it would have been interesting to see some type of dialogue between me and Atticus and that whole situation, and just so, like you said, JB, like it's leaving that impression that they won't forget, and that listen, you. As actors, we can't guarantee if we're going to come back. We can't worry about that. Like I said earlier in the show, we can't worry about if we're going to get a recurring role, if they're going to bring us back. And oftentimes when you go in there with that energy to try to come back, now you got the energy of desperation, and that's going to play into your performance. So, but just being there at that moment, at that time, and giving it your all. I remember walking in, and the director, she didn't know my name. It was pretty embarrassing because she was like, excuse me, sir, I'm sorry, what's your name? And I'm like, I'm just the lead in this scene. And you don't know my name. Like, it was really confusing to me. I'm like, it was pretty embarrassing to me, but really it had to be embarrassing to her because I'm like, it was crazy. And so a director should know everybody's name pretty much, especially if they're your lead character. Exactly. But it was what it was. I felt some type of way, but I said, you know what, I'm gonna take that. Oh, and that was another thing. I took that because she yelled it all the way across. Everybody could hear. I mean, there was about 200 people on set, and everybody's like, "Oh my God, this guy must be a star." And when she yelled, she said, "Well, what's your name?" And and it was. I said Kevin Savage, and I had to say it twice. But I didn't realize that what I was doing is I was leaving an imprint on my whole career by letting you know who I am, because you have to know my name. Exactly. Anybody that you work with, that is the most important thing. And so when I did that, I said, okay, all right. And by the end of the scene, when we were almost done filming that day, I'll never forget it. She came back to me. She said, "Sir, I'm so sorry." Wow. She said, my sister just passed away yesterday, and my mind is just, and so I said, "I'm so sorry, ma'am." So you never know what people are going through. But when she came back to me, she told me that let me know that my work ethic had yielded enough respect for her to come back and come back and at least tell me that. Because most directors would be like, okay, whatever, So it was a beautiful thing. And I remember not even having a chair to sit down in, but I would say halfway throughout the day, they came through. They said, "Mr. Savage, you want to sit down? You want to have a seat? Are you hungry? Are you?" And I said, "Wow." So pretty much, let your work speak for itself. Let your work speak for itself, and it's going to open up doors, man. So it was a blessing.
Because when you were talking, and to be honest with you, that is inspiring. But when you were talking about leaving the residue, I was thinking about set etiquette for those starting in the game as background actors. I was thinking you were going in towards that route when you were talking about leaving the residue. But that's where my mind was. I was like, oh, what are you? I'm like, how is that? But
it's that too. It's that too. It's all of it. It's set etiquette, being on time. Yes. Because they're gonna remember you if you're late. Trust me. And you don't want them to remember you because you're late. But once it's set etiquette. You're on time. You don't ask to take pictures with other actors and stuff. All of that stuff. It's very important. Right. But that residue of just coming, showing being on time, and giving 110% and making them remember. I'm pretty sure she knows who I am now. And I say that in the most humbling way, but I'm pretty sure, because I'm like, if you don't know my name right now, you gonna know my name when we're done. And I remember working with this one particular director, and I remember always wanting to work with him, right? Real quick, I'm sorry, I just gotta say this. always wanting to work with this guy. Even when I was in Philly, and I would send him like Facebook messages, hey man, I want to work with you. And he had done a few movies and stuff. His name was getting big. And after a while, it was like he stopped responding. He was like, I'll throw you some work. I got you. And he threw me like this really small role, background role. And by then I'd already been on, television and stuff, working and stuff. And I said, okay. I said, he must not have been doing his research to see that I'm growing as an actor. I said, listen, you're going to see me before I see you. I said, I guarantee you, be blessed. Right. And so I'm sure he didn't know what I meant.
Right.
Fast forward 6 years later, which was about 4 months ago, I'm on a set of his movie. He didn't even know I was going to be there. And they pulled me in last minute. They cast me last minute. It wasn't his choice. It was the writer's choice to pull me in. So I walk in the room and he turns around. He was like, wow, Kevin Savage. What's up, man?
Wow.
So all I did, respect. I shook his hand and he just looked at me. He was like, bro, I love what you did on, on the quad, man. He was like, I was sitting up there and I was talking to my wife. Next thing you know, I turn around and I see your face. And I was like, that's Kevin Savage. And so it took me back to when I messaged him. I said, you're going to see me before I see you.
Wow.
And so when it's your words are so powerful.
Right. Exactly.
I don't even know. You know what I mean? It was what it was. So when you let your work speak for you and you just stay on course and you keep that connection, keep that connection.
That's right.
God will open up doors that you couldn't even dream of. But stay humble.
That's one of the models, and I'm going to talk about the quad, and we'll wrap up the show at that point. But just like even what you're saying, the soul inspiration behind the show, and we look at each other. We look at what the position we've taken about truth behind the truth, and the venture to kudos to our magnificent producer. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And what he's done and his vision. And he'll tell you, and once we could close the show, we'll let you hang around. We'll talk about it because I know he's got to run. But just to let you know that the show was simultaneously pitched to him, and I didn't even know I was pitching it to him. Okay. I mean, literally, I didn't even know I was pitching it to him, but that's not so. We'll talk about off camera about how that worked. But I just wanted to say that, what you're saying is so true. Yes. And the alignment of what is the greatness that you have to present to humanity is so important. We say to people all the time, this show will be shot from Sony Studios in LA. The specific time when, I can't say at the moment. It could be next week. We could be getting that contract by the end of the year, starting off 2021. Yeah. But rest assured, Kevin Savage is going to be at Sony Studios on set of Truth Behind Truth. Yeah. Trust me. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Because it's got a word for the world.
Yes, it does.
You see what I'm saying? We've got a word for the world.
Yes.
Now that's our part of the world. It may be the whole world. You know what I'm saying? We may be the light of a beacon to make somebody else change. Wow, okay. I feel that. We may be the light of the beacon that infects the next president that will come, be over this United States, or be over England, or be over France. The power is here. You just said it in your words. You speak that power, moving that power every day. It's got to come to pass.
Yes. It's got to. You speaking life. You're speaking word, and words have power.
Absolutely.
And I don't know, biblically, this is what I know, but the world was created through word.
Right. Absolutely.
So it's like you say, stay in the course, speaking the word, claiming it, and working towards it, because you can speak it and not be working towards, and what they call faith without work.
Oh, faith without work is dead.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Mm-hmm. It's just, but you have to, like you say, stay the course, work towards it, speak it. And like you told him, it was like you will see me before I see you. Mm-hmm. That in itself was just powerful enough. And I think even when he turned around in that moment, he was like, oh, now. Oh, wait a minute.
I have seen him before. He said, hey, whoa.
I know that would have scared the heck out of me. I'm like, wait a minute. Because people just don't know. It happens every day. It happens on site.
Exactly.
On site.
Yeah.
On site.
It does.
But it is what it is. And that is powerful.
Mhm.
That is very powerful.
In and of itself.
Yes.
So let's just touch on Quad real quick, and then we're gonna let you wrap up the show with some inspiring words that you may feel that you want to encourage the audience. So let's talk about Quad just real quick, maybe a couple of minutes on that, and then we'll move on.
Okay. The Quad was very, very, very just crazy. I remember going and auditioning for it 3 times, and I got cast for the role that I never even auditioned for.
Wow.
And so, yeah, it was just crazy. But I get a call that, hey, you're going to be a quarterback in a TV show. And I'm like, what? And so it was only supposed to be for 1 episode. And I remember them telling me that I was going to have a scene with Sean Blakemore, Emmy Award winning actor Sean Blakemore.
Yeah.
And I said, okay, we'll have some fun. And I go in there, and I have fun. I had fun. And I was walking off of set when we were done, and one of the writers, he said, excuse me, he said, man, he said, you did an awesome job. We didn't know that, that you could act like that. And I said, I just, chuckled. And he said, well, we're going to expand your role.
Uh-huh.
And he said, yeah, we're going to write more for you. He said, you're going to be back. And I was like, wow. I was like, well, thank you. You know what I mean? Put my hand on my chest. Thank you. Mm-hmm. And sure enough, pulled me back. And I ended up being on there for the rest of the season. And the next season. So it was just fun, man. Yeah. Go ahead. If you have questions on it,
no. That speaks enough, right there. I mean, because there's no need to dig into the character. I just hate that the show had to end, or they kind of left it open because it really wasn't like a finale. It was just like the Quad and no more Quad.
They left it open. And my character, Terrence, it was just so fun to portray that character because he in a lot of different ways he was me, but of course without the rape part. But I just want to clear that up. Right. But even in that though, my question to you guys, to you, JB, do you think I did it? A lot of people ask me, well, did you do it? Did you do it? Did you rape the girl? But if you notice, people don't want to, think about when they show both sides. They show my side, my truth, then they show her side. Her truth. Uh-huh. But there was never really a clear distinction of what really happened.
True. Right.
And so I think that was interesting. And I wish they would have elaborated on that if we would have went to trial. Oh my gosh. It would have been amazing.
Exactly. Well, I'm going to go back to which is a great eloquent point about what you just said.
It was this character that was going to commit suicide over that. Where your character was going to commit suicide. One of those characters committed suicide over.
It was my character, which is funny because I had a talk with. Shout out to Felicia D. Henderson, who was the director and creator of different TV shows and stuff, Moesha, all them shows.
Oh,
but she called me, and God will give you favor. This director called me and told me what they were doing to my character in terms of killing. And I said, well, she said, well, if you have any ideas, call me back. And I sure did. I called her back. Yeah. And I said, well, if you do that, so many people are going to wonder why did he do that? I mean, don't you think it would be more interesting if we went to court? If we, you got a lot of, and around that time, there was an issue that had happened. So, this was dealing with the HBCU. So, we could have been forums, we could have traveled, we could have had dialogue about, because there was a lot of people who have been, raped.
Yeah.
There was bigger powers over her that said, I know I would love to do that, but we can't. I said, I'm going to accept my fate and keep it moving. But it would have just been so nice if they would have done it.
Explored it a lot more than what they did. Yeah. I like to one point, like you said, even though it's in the character sense, I love how you pinpointed on the two truths. His truth versus her truth, but it's kind of like the element of what our show is about. There is a truth behind the truth. You know what I'm saying, there's a truth that one person illuminates an idea of their truth, and then there is the truth,
right?
thing. And the intricate piece about that, you know, I just thought about it when you said it. I was like, this is an element of the show, you know, in so many different ways of our topics. But anyway, we'll let you go ahead, just kind of, you know, if you got any inspiring words to the audience, you know, to share tonight, you know, from an actor standpoint of view, from your human standpoint of view, and then we'll let you, you know, we'll end it with that.
Definitely. You know, anything that you want in life, you got to be willing to work, you know, for it. And, you know, and this is so important, you know, for actors to understand, when you go in for an audition and you feel like you didn't do well, you feel like, you know, oh my gosh, like I forgot the lines or whatever. Just know that that's a learning moment, and learning moments are always successful because it teaches you what not to do the next time. And so, you know, when you go into audition, you've already succeeded because everybody doesn't get an audition.
That's true.
Whether you book it or not, booking it is just the cherry on the top. But the fact that they want to see you, the fact that they're taking their time out to see what you can do, that's success by itself. So don't think that you're just going to be a movie star the next day. And if you're into it just to be a movie star, it's a good chance that you might not be that good at it. You know, because here's the thing, you got to do it because you love it, not because of what it's going to yield you. And so just never give up. Never give up. You know, there's going to be days and times where you feel like you want to give up. But if this is something that's already inside of you, it's got to come out.
Got to agree with that. Totally agree with that. So, so outside of the actors world, anything that, as far as humanity, that you want to share for this particular point in time?
Yeah, I mean, you know what? You know, art imitates, you know, life imitates art, right? So, and art imitates life. So, you know, it's just in everyday life, just what's going on with coronavirus and everything that's going on. I think it's really important that we stay focused and stay grounded, because it's not going to be like this, you know, forever. Don't lose that connection. You know, for me personally, you know, I've been going through a season where I want to start reconnecting. I want to start, because sometimes I get a little, you know, I'm an introvert at times, and so I lose touch with those who care about me. And sometimes I got to mentally say, wait a minute, let me pick up the phone and call this person. Let me pick up the phone and call that person, you know, and really be intentional about reaching out to people that you love, because oftentimes, you know, I'll reach out to somebody and they have a word for me and I didn't even expect it, but that's because I was intentional about reaching out, and they give me something. So I think in this time where social distance is really big, we got to remember to not distance ourselves from the ones that we love.
Yeah, that's true.
We got to make sure, because we're going through a time right now where it's almost like we're just alone, you know, by ourselves. We got to stay in the house, or you know, if you go to the store, you got to mask up. People can't see your face. You know, you're scared to be next to anybody. You know, you can't travel with too many people. You know, Thanksgiving, it was so different this year. You know, you can't go over and see all your family. Most people stayed home.
Right.
These are the moments where you got to reach out and make sure that the people that you love, to make sure that you're there for them and they're there for you. And oftentimes that gives you energy and strength.
Amen.
Got you.
Yeah.
Well said.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, well said. I mean, I'm totally in agreement with that, you know, all the way across the board, you know. Bro, it has been a joy, a pleasure tonight to have you with us. You know, before when we get back to that on the 13th, all of this philosophical energy that all of our actors and on this one, man, I'm telling you, we gonna shake the internet that night. Wi-Fi, internet, you know, be as it may, it's gonna be great. It's gonna be a great night. You know, in terms. Or you about to say something? I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, I'm just agreeing, man. I'm just agreeing. And if you don't mind me, you know, please check me out. I have a few more. I was just cast for Bigger, the TV show Bigger, so you'll see me in that. So I just got cast, and that's on BET Plus.
Okay.
So that's dope. And also Lovecraft. I'm sorry. The Underground Railroad. Barry Jenkins, Academy Award winning director Barry Jenkins. That's coming on Amazon Prime. So you'll see me as James Fulton. And it derives from Colson Whitehead's novel, The Underground Railroad. So so a lot of stuff coming up. I'm excited. We're gonna do some amazing things.
Email me a list of stuff, and if you have like the posters from what's going on, send that to me, because what we do is like we're putting all of that on the True Ground Truth page. So we're celebrating, you know, all of our actors and the work that they're doing. Okay, so if you have the posters or whatever that stuff, send them to me. Okay, and we'll put it up on.
I'll look into that. Underground Railroad. Okay, Railroad, and that's on Amazon Prime. Okay,
it's on Amazon Prime, and it derives from the Pulitzer Prize winning book. So this is my first time ever portraying a character in a book that was Pulitzer Prize winning by a black author. Colson Whitehead. So yeah, definitely.
Wow. See, now you got the goose pimples going.
Yeah. and bigger too. Bigger is another show. Bigger
exactly.
too. Okay.
Exactly.
I'll look into this.
Yes.
I'm going to look at that. Congratulations,
yes,
though.
Man,
that is wonderful.
Man, I'm so proud of you, Kev. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
Wow.
Thank you so much.
I really am. I'm waiting for the fact that now that when the Tonys, the Oscar,
yes.
the Emmys, saying all of them involved. But Russia, just send us a ticket. We'll take 3 rows from behind, okay? But hey, we may all be there together. You see what I'm saying? At the end of the day. So especially with the Emmys, we'll be all there together. Best talk show host, okay? So in the same row.
We might
best
be
actor in the leading series. You know what I'm saying?
So
we might be
one or the other.
One or the other. Okay.
We might be doing.
Sure. Oh my man, could you imagine that we all sitting on the same row doing the Emmys? Oh my God.
Listen, I can't imagine it, honestly. And I just want to real quick, thank you guys. Thank both of you guys for opening up and giving us, as actors, but not just actors, people, a platform to just speak. This is so needed right now. And so you guys are doing an awesome job. I'm looking at how you guys have formulated the show. I mean, I feel like I'm on, CNN or something with Chris Cuomo and talking to them and stuff, man. I mean, it's just amazing, man. So thank you guys for giving that platform, and we appreciate it.
Oh man,
we appreciate you. Thank you.
Man, bless you. So like we end with our guests all the time on the show. We're gonna give him more Kevin. Okay, so
more Kevin.
What Kevin? Everybody gets that.
He'd be making stuff up on the whim. but let me tell you something. That is in itself
right.
a
Very endearing
statement.
Very
and
endearing.
it's so needed. Yes.
Exactly.
Yes, sir.
Exactly.
Yes. Man. Oh, yes. Yes.
But have a blessed night. We'll look for it. I definitely will see you on the 13th. Pick up that phone call. We're gonna be, let us know anything you got going on because we'd be first to love to promote it for you, man. Yes. Any way that we can.
I appreciate that. Thanks, guys.
Have a powerful night, have a powerful week, and keep them auditions flowing.
Yeah,
man, because I'm in there with you, bro. I got the energy going.
All right. I feel it.
All right, hey, man. Thank you, Cal. We appreciate you, bro. Much love, man.
Much love. All right.
Guys, thank you for tuning in tonight. This has been a super awesome show with my little brother. We appreciate him so much, taking the time out of his schedule. Guys, you're hurting, supporting. Watch those shows that he's going to be on. I mean, and hey, ask you for an autograph. You know what I'm saying? Get it early because it's going to be worth a whole lot of money in just a little bit of time. Everybody's going to know the name Kevin Savage.
Oh, most definitely. Oh, wow.
Exactly. Guys, have a blessed night. Thank you for tuning in with us tonight. Remember, we'll be back each and every Saturday night, 9 p.m. on the East Coast, 8 p.m. Central, and 6 p.m. Pacific time. Guys, have a great night. Thanks for tuning in. Bye-bye.